guys, Miss Sarah. I thought that since we can't meet for my first book club, that I would pop on here and read you a few chapters from one of my favorite authors. He writes The Weird School, and this one's My Weirder School. His name's Dan Gutman. I'm going to read this story, Miss Child Has Gone Wild. I'm going to read a few chapters a day, and I'm coming to you from my home office because I cannot be at the library either. On the inside of this book, and Dan Gutman is also reading some of his books live on Facebook, on his Facebook page. So it's Dan Gutman, and there's how you spell his name, so you can find him on Facebook if your parents want to set you up. On the inside of every book, there's a picture of the inside of AJ's locker, and it's always different. Here we go. The first chapter is called We Win. My name is AJ, and I hate school. I don't even know why school was invented. Whoever thought up that idea was mean. Reading, writing, and math are overrated. You can learn all you need to know by watching TV. I'm talking about the important stuff, like which breakfast cereal is crunchier and which video games let you shoot more bad guys. If I was the president, the first thing I'd do would be to close all the schools and turn them into skate parks. That would be cool. My teacher is Mr. Granite, who is from another planet. He was about to start our math lesson when an announcement came over the loudspeaker. It was our principal, Mr. Klutz, who has no hair at all. The winner of the cleanest classroom in the school contest goes to Mr. Granite's third graders. Yay! Everybody in our class shouted. What did we win? I asked Mr. Granite. You win a classroom that's clean, he said. For the rest of you, Mr. Klutz announced, please be careful not to leave any food around your classroom. It attracts bugs and mice. We want to teach students at elementary school, not bugs and mice. Ugh, I hate mice, said Mr. Granite. Why would anyone leave food around a classroom? Asked this annoying girl named Andrea Young with curly brown hair. Oh, that's disgusting, said Emily, this crybaby girl who always agrees with Andrea. Maybe they wanted to feed the bugs and the mice, said my friend Ryan. Okay, it's time for math, said Mr. Granite. Turn to page 23 in your... Mr. Granite didn't get the chance to finish his sentence because at that very moment, the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. A girl came into class. Well, that's not the weird part because girls come into the class all the time. The weird part was that she skateboarded into the class. The girl was wearing a backward baseball cap and a black t-shirt that said Led Zeppelin on it. Get her. Yo, she said as she hopped off her skateboard. They told me I was supposed to be in Mr. Granite's class. Are you Mr. Granite? Yes, Mr. Granite replied. Who are you? My name is AJ, the girl said, and I hate school. What? Chapter 2, The New Girl. Everybody turned and looked at me when the girl named AJ skateboarded into the class. Hey, the new girl is cool, whispered my friend Michael, who sits behind me. What does AJ stand for? Asked Mr. Granite. He was looking through his attendance list. Alexia Juarez, the girl said. My family just moved here from Puerto Rico last week. Ooh, said Ryan. The new girl has the same initials as AJ. They must be in love. When are you and the new girl going to get married? Asked Michael. I felt my face getting hot. I looked around the class and spotted Andrea. She was looking at the new girl. Andrea had on a mean face and her arms were crossed in front of her. When people cross their arms in front of them, it means they're mad. Nobody knows why. Do you really hate school, Alexia? Asked Emily. Sure I do, said Alexia. School is something grown-ups invented so they wouldn't have to take care of us during the day. Here, oops. There's the new girl. And there's AJ. See his face getting all flushed. Wow, the new girl was a lot like me, but a girl. I don't agree with that, Mr. Granite said. But welcome to our class, Alexia. Take off your hat, please. We don't wear hats in school. Alexia made a face and took off her hat anyway. She has blonde hair. She shook her head. Her hair fell all the way down her back and swirled around in slow motion, just like in those shampoo commercials on TV. Ooh, everybody said. Your hair is pretty, Alexia, said Andrea. What a brown noser. Andrea probably wished she had long blonde hair. Maybe Alexia would like it to tell us a little bit about herself, said Mr. Granite. Do you like to dance and sing? Asked Andrea. No, Alexia replied. I like to play video games and ride my skateboard. What? I like to ride my skateboard and play video games. Can you drop into a half pipe on your skateboard? I asked. Sure, Alexia said. I do it all the time. Wow, I can't even drop into a half pipe on a skateboard. That's scary. Do you like to play dress up? Asked Emily. No, Alexia replied. I like to play football and eat pizza. What? I like to play football and eat pizza. Well, do you like to play with dolls? Asked Andrea. Alexia slapped her own head. No, she replied. Dolls are yucky. I like to ride trick bikes. What? I like to ride trick bikes, thought AJ. Do you like animals? Asked Neil, who we call the nude kid, even though he wears clothes. Oh, yes, Alexia said. My favorite animal is the penguin. What? Thought AJ. I love penguins, too. This was getting weird. I know what you are, Andrea said to Alexia. You're a tomboy. That's right, Alexia replied proudly. I am. Okay, take a seat over there, Alexia, said Mr. Granite. You can sit next to AJ. Now, please, open up your math books to page 23. Ooh, said Ryan. The two AJs are sitting next to each other. They must be in love. When are you going to get married? Asked Michael. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Chapter 3. This child is weird. I opened my math book to page 23. Alexia skateboarded over to the desk next to me and sat down. Then she leaned over so that her long blonde hair was touching my desk. Yo, dude, she whispered in my ear. You want a piece of gum? We're not allowed to chew gum in school, I whispered back. Yeah, so, Alexia said, and she popped a piece of gum into her mouth. Mr. Granite clapped his hands together. Okay. Maybe now we can finally get to our math lesson. I glanced sideways and saw that Alexia was writing something on a little scrap of paper. She folded it up and tossed it on my desk. I opened the note. It said, I hate math. I turned the paper over and I wrote on the other side, me too. Then I passed the paper back to Alexia. Mr. Granite, said Andrea, the two AJs are passing notes back and forth. Don't be a tattletale, Andrea, said Mr. Granite. Oh, snap, said Ryan. Na, 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 boo, boo, na, 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 boo, boo, on Andrea. In her face. I was going to say something mean to her, but you'll never believe who poked their head into the door at that very moment. Nobody. Why would anyone poke their head into a door? That would hurt. But you'll never believe who poked their head into the doorway. It was a lady. She had something around her neck, and it wasn't a necklace. It was a snake. Eek! Screamed all the girls. A snake! They were freaking out. I'm scared, said Emily, who was scared of everything. Hello, the lady said. I'm Miss Child and I work at the zoo. We're right in the middle of our math lesson, said Mr. Granite. To what do we owe this pleasure of your company, Miss Child? Mr. Klutz said I could stop in and show the kid our newest friend at the zoo, said Miss Child. We named him Pumpkin. Isn't he adorable? Did you want to look back at him? No, said all the girls. I had to admit that Pumpkin was pretty adorable, but I wasn't about to say so because I never said anything is adorable. Do you want to touch Pumpkin? Asked Miss Child. No, shouted the girls. Yes, shouted all the boys, plus Alexia. We lined up to touch Pumpkin. Oh, snakes are cool, said Alexia. I saw snakes back home in Puerto Rico all the time. I thought Pumpkin was going to be all slimy and disgusting, but he wasn't. He didn't bite me or anything. Miss Know-It-All Andrea must have been jealous that Alexia liked snakes because she started telling everybody all about them. Did you know that snakes are deaf? Said Andrea. They pick up vibrations through their jawbones, and they smell with their tongues. Ugh, what a brown-noser. That's true, Andrea, said Miss Child. Hey, do you kids want to see something really cool? She reached into her pocket and pulled out a big, hairy spider. Ew! This is my friend Melvin, said Miss Child. He's a tarantula. You keep a tarantula in your pocket? I asked. That was weird. Spiders are gross, said Neil, the nude kid. Well, I don't feel that way, Miss Child said. At the zoo, we appreciate all living creatures, large and small, land creatures and sea creatures, meat eaters and plant eaters, creatures that fly or swim or crawl on their bellies, and blah, 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 blah. She went on, talking about how great animals are and that all the Lion King's circle of life stuff. I thought I was going to fall asleep. But then Miss Child said something that got my attention. I have big news, she said. Miss Child has a big nose, Alexia whispered in my ear. The real reason why I came in here is because you have the cleanest class in the whole school, she said. So your class has been chosen to go on a field trip to the zoo. Yay! Everybody shouted. And that's the end of chapters 1, 2, and 3. Join me next time for chapters 4, 5, and 6 and see what happens when they head to the zoo. See you next time.